Hi everyone, my name is Mathieu Chasson, and in today's video I want to talk about this small budget lens, the 7Artisans 7.5mm f2.8. You can see right here. So this is a budget lens. I think it was 140 or 160 Canadian, so around $100 US. And it's for Fujifilm camera, and it's a totally manual lens. So it doesn't, the camera can't focus with it, so you have to focus manually. And the aperturing is also manual. So as you can see, and they're not, they're sliding rings, so they don't click. You don't hear click, 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 click. So they're gradual sliding ring. They're pretty good. So this is not a full review. So I'm just going to give my impression on this. It's not a full comprehensive review. I'm going to give my opinion on this lens just quickly. And at the end, I'll say if I recommend it or not. So yeah, so this is completely manual. That means you have to focus manually, but with a lens like this, with a really wide field of view, you can actually almost leave it on infinity and it'll be in focus. Infinity, I think, is, if you look here, it's about a meter from the camera. So if you leave it on infinity, everything that's 1 meter from your camera or more than from your camera is going to be in focus. So it's a really easy manual lens to have. At the same time, if you want to shoot something really close, I think you can get up to, it says here 0.12 meters. So that's about 10 centimeters from the sensor. So it's starting right here and goes right there. So you can, just maybe 1 or 2 inches from your lens is going to be in focus if you set it to the closest. So it does do some really neat close-up with this. It's kind of hard to get your head around that large focal view, because oftentimes with this it takes almost 180 degrees, close to, not quite, but almost 180 degrees around the lens. So oftentimes my feet are in the shots, or even if I take pictures like this, my elbow here often gets in because it's kind of sticking out. So you got to be really careful what's in your frame. So it's a learning curve on that end, but it does create some really neat shots. They're going to be unique shots. Of course, you can't use that for everything. There's big distortion. Things that are just a few feet from you are going to be smaller in the middle. So everything is going to be small. If you do landscape, this is great. If you have a dramatic sky to include in the frame, but like if you have a mountain or a city in your shot, it's going to be shrink down very tiny in the middle. But the sky, if it's dramatic, will be amazing. And then you'll have foreground. What I do usually, when I take images like this, you have your whole frame, and depending on the angle you shoot at, you can have your horizon straight. If you shoot too much to higher, if you angle higher up, you'll have your horizon's going to be curved. If you shoot down, it's going to be curved inward or outward. I don't know the right terms, but it'll be curved. But if you angle it right, your horizon is going to be straight, but you're going to have a lot of foreground and a lot of sky. But usually what I do is I cropped either part of the bottom or part of the, depending on what, and I try to do like more of a panoramic shot from these images, which is really cool. So, and even if you tilt your camera, it can have some really good effects. As far as the quality of the image that this renders, it's not perfect by any means, and it probably varies from one lens to the other because they're budget lens. the glasses have imperfections in them. Maybe you'll get one that doesn't. Mine, everything that's on the right side is kind of a little bit more blurry than what's on the left side, which is odd. I wish it didn't. So that's definitely a minus for me. You can definitely see the softness is everything that's on the right side. But beyond that, unless you want to really crop a lot, usually I don't find it that much distracting. And people love these kind of shots. They're different. So, I mean, do I recommend this lens? Definitely, if you're the type of photographer who likes to experiment and shoot, really experiment. I took this one in a workshop that was a small workshop that we did in the city, and I thought I'd only shoot with this, and I got some really interesting images. So, if you like to experiment with photography, this is definitely something that I'd recommend. Of course, you can't use that for things like weddings. Well, maybe create some really interesting shot for weddings, but you're not going to take the important shots with this. So yeah, it's a very experimental lens. It's really fun. It's not expensive, and you'll have some fun with it. And I definitely recommend it. The only thing, remember, if it's the first fully manual lens that you buy, you have to go into the settings of your camera to allow to shoot without the lens, because this doesn't connect to your camera. The camera connectors that connects to your lens, it doesn't have any. I don't know if you can, come on, focus. You see, there's no connectors. It's just a plain plate that connects to the camera. So, hold on, I'll show you what the connectors look like. Here, I'm back. So if you look here, this is a Fuji lens. You see the connectors there? So that's what connects to your camera. And this manual lens doesn't have any, so your camera doesn't even know there's a lens on there. So you have to go in your settings and set your camera to shoot without a lens. By default, it's off. So just a little warning that if you buy a fully manual lens, that you may have to do that. Well, for this one, you have to. So I think that's it. I really recommend this lens. If you know that you're not going to get perfect quality images, there might be some soft areas in the lens, but it's a really fun lens to shoot with if you want to experiment and do fun stuff. This is definitely a good lens for that. So alright, so I hope you enjoyed this little review of this lens. If you have any comments or questions about the lens, please feel free to comment to write in the comments below. Or if you have other budget lens that you've tried, because there are other ones. I think there's a Nikon 7.5 also. If you've tried that lens, please leave in the comment what you think about that lens or other lenses that you've tried. So, all right, thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.